What's up, golf fans, and welcome back to the Golf Wrap here on the Ozarks First Digital Desk. My name is Chris Pinson, and if you are a golf fan, then you know just how important the middle of July is to the golf world. Why? Because if you're a true golf fan, then your attention will be distracted on two different shores. One here in America, the other across the Atlantic. And we'll get to that one in just a second. But this week, it is officially in my own backyard, my neck of the woods out here in Springfield, Missouri. It is time for the 18th of 26 events on the Korn Ferry Tour. That would be the 36th annual Price Cutter Charity Championship held at Highland Springs Country Club here in Springfield, Missouri. It is one of only 4 events on the Korn Ferry Tour that has been played every single year since this tour started way back in 1990. So that's a pretty cool distinction. But if you know anything about this tournament, man, it's got a great history. And history is part of the field, as the only returning champion in this event is back, and that would be one David Coker. David Coker won this event in 2022 by performing at an all-time best, a tournament record 28 under par, to win the Price Cutter Charity Championship and help him secure his PGA Tour card. Now, he is the only champion of this event in the field, so that's his little distinction there. But the rest of the field is certainly gunning to try to win their first Price Cutter Charity Championship. And some guys in the field you might have heard of recently if you pay attention to the Korn Ferry Tour. How about the kid from Ohio State, Neil Shipley? He won last week for the second time already this season. Yes, he won in a playoff, so he's now a 2-time winner on the Korn Ferry Tour here in his first year. And if he wins one more time this season, he will automatically jump to the PGA Tour, because if you win 3 times in the Korn Ferry Tour series or year, then that's your automatic qualification. But there's also another guy that is a 2-time winner standing, waiting, ready to win this event and get his automatic qualifier to the PGA Tour. That would be Austin Smotherman. Smotherman became the first Korn Ferry Tour member this year to win twice. So between Shipley and Smotherman, those two guys right there, they've got enough motivation they need to come out firing. And if you've tracked the last 3 years of this tournament, I mentioned 3 years ago in 2022, it was David Coker with a tournament record 28 under par finish. Well, the last 2 years, you've had the identical score win the tournament. It's only 3 strokes less, but at 25 under par, you've had Pearson Coody, who won in 2023 and is the grandson of Masters champion Charles Coody, and last year, Matt McCarthy, who also won this event, but it was the first of his 3 wins on the Korn Ferry Tour. So believe me, this event can spark your season. It truly can be a turning point, as we've seen based upon last year's history. Now, other names in this event that you're going to want to pay attention to. Well, aside from Neil Shipley and aside from Austin Smotherman, there's also Johnny Kiefer. This young man is already having himself quite the season. You see, across a 3-week stretch, he won the BMW Charity Pro-Am, and then he also has 2 runner-up finishes. So he is firmly inside the top 25 points list to get himself onto the PGA Tour next year. But again, he's got plenty of motivation to get right up there and win this tournament and get 2 wins under his belt and put him one away from joining the PGA Tour via automatic qualification. So this field is going to be a lot of fun to check out. Now, across the pond, let's talk about that tournament. We are officially upon the precedent of, guess what? The 153rd Open Championship, or for you older fans, the British Open. This event is going to be so much fun because we got a few fun things to talk about here. Number one, this is the year's final major for the PGA Tour. And it's back where? Northern Ireland at Royal Portrush, where 6 years ago, Shane Lowry, the Northern Irishman himself, won this tournament. And by the way, it's only been played here 3 times in its history. So it's not like it happens every single year, you know? So, of course, Lowry and Rory McIlroy will be the 2 favorites for the hometown crowds. But you look at the rest of the leaderboard. All the guys on this field, all 156 guys that easily could be in the running to win this tournament. I mean, where do you start? You want youth and power? Go to Ludwig Oberg. Oberg, of course, has put himself in contention already this year early on at the Masters, but did not come through. That was Rory McIlroy's to win. But he certainly has all the game in the world that can scare any greenskeeper and any ground screw. He can hit the ball long. He can putt. He can do everything you need to. But he's got to put it together for 4 rounds of golf. And then other guys, Bryson DeChambeau. Of course, you got to talk about Scotty Scheffler. The defending champ himself, Xander Schauffele, is back as well. He won 2 majors last year. This was the last of those 2. I mean, the field is littered with so many guys. Ricky Fowler is a guy I love at this event. Hasn't played great golf as of late, but neither has Jordan Spieth. And Spieth as well is a guy that somehow, some way, if he's playing well out here, he's going to put himself in contention. Tommy Fleetwood, Justin Rose. I mean, the list goes on and on. Tony Finau, Matthew Fitzpatrick. There's so many guys this week that can win this tournament, which is a great transition to talk about Wyndham Clark. See, Wyndham Clark, if you hadn't heard, he got really upset after missing the cut at Oakmont this year at the U.S. Open. Well, after the round, he took out his frustration on the locker room. And I mean, whatever he did, whether he bashed it, kicked it, damaged it somehow, he caused enough damage for Oakmont to announce today, Wednesday, July 16th, that he is banned forever from Oakmont. Can you imagine that? When the U.S. Open or the PGA returns to Oakmont in X amount of years, Wyndham Clark, if he's still playing on the tour, won't be invited to play. Cannot go. To me, I think this is a great thing. What you have done is wrong. And just because you're a famous player or you've won a lot or you are one of the best right now doesn't mean you don't deserve to be treated like a bad, spoiled child. And that's exactly what Wyndham Clark did. He behaved like a poor, spoiled child who didn't get his way, even though it was right here in his 2 hands. He didn't play well enough. And then he got so mad, he took it out on the actual facilities at Oakmont. And you can imagine how graciously those members took it. So whether it was the members, whether it was the PGA, the USGA, whoever it was that made that call to ban him from Oakmont, good for you. We also have one more cool story to talk about. How about 30 years ago, 1995? That's when John Daly, Long John Daly, won his first Open Championship. That's right, Long John Daly won the 1995 Open Championship at the Old Course at St. Andrews in Scotland, defeating Constantino Rocca in a 4-hole aggregate playoff. Daly shot 1 under, while Rocca shot 3 over, and Daly was easily the outright winner. But of course, this playoff that happened, it was legendary because of how Rocca got into the playoff. Needing a birdie on the 18th hole, Rocca made an unbelievable 60-foot bomb putt up the hill, sliding nasty breaker for a birdie. And that tied him with John Daly at 6 under par at the end of 72 holes. After that, the 2 players went to a 4-hole aggregate playoff. And they played 4 holes. Number 1, number 2, number 17, the road hole at St. Andrews, and number 18, all par 4s. And sure enough, Daly recorded 3 pars and 1 birdie to win by shooting 1 under for the 4-hole aggregate. Now, the other cool thing about this Open Championship back in 1995 at St. Andrews, 1995 was the very last Open appearance for the 2-time Open champion, the king himself, Arnold Palmer. This was the last time that he would go across the pond and play in the Open Championship. Of course, that's why him and Jack and Tom Watson and all these greats that the game of golf grew with and made it what it is today, they all generally say goodbye at the Open course, at the Old Course, because of the Swilcan Bridge and how famous that iconic scene, that hallowed ground, that landscape is to golf. But while that was Arnold Palmer's last British Open, would you believe that it was also the first appearance for who would become a 3-time Open champion, Tiger Woods? Just think about that. You've got the king, Arnold Palmer, who brought golf and television into America's hearts, right? The king. It doesn't get any bigger than the king. You got the king saying goodbye. Then at the same time, you've got John Daly, who became the inspiration for Happy Gilmore, who became the everyman blue-collar golfer, weekend hacker's hero, right? In his antics of Diet Cokes and cheeseburgers and not practicing, but gripping and ripping and all the things that came with him. And then you got Tiger Woods playing in the British Open for the first time. Of course, what would be the start of his unbelievable career? Just saying, sports, life, intersection happens all the time, but in some of the most unique ways. So look, tonight we are on the eve of two of the biggest golf tournaments going on this week in the world of golf. One's here in America, right in my backyard, at the Springfield area with the Price Cutter Charity Championship, 36th edition taking place out here at Highland Springs Country Club. And then across the pond at 1:35 a.m. in the morning, Eastern Standard Time in the U.S., we've got the Open Championship teeing off. I don't know who's going to win it, but I know one thing. If you win an Open Championship, you certainly are the champion golfer of the year. But either way, it's going to be so much fun to be on the ground covering the Price Cutter day in and day out, seeing who can survive the elements, stand their wits, and be able to take whatever the Mother Nature and their golf game is going to throw at them. And the same goes for the British Open. All right, we'll see you next time right here on the Golf Wrap.